No, you don't need the.
I'm doing this my way. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of idols. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of idols.
Come back to Summoner's Rift. Today we have 4 matches for you, so let's go. OMG and LNG face off in the LPL. Chenlun 17, the wannabe Mickey, is showing his age as Kale scales into infinity and OMG moves up for a fight. Graves is still in the pit, but his team begins to fall away. Hack Attack charges onto the Baron and steals Baron. Curse is shouting obscenities at Icon, convincing him to dive into the enemy team and almost dying before going golden. Aphelios is cursed, and Chenlun 17 returns the favor, but the better top laner set up his team for a team fight victory as Graves and the rest of the team are murdered in cold blood. Do you smells what OMG is cooking? A Game 1 victory. Delicious. In Game 2, LNG and OMG are posturing around the Dragon Pit. OMG is on Soul Point and is engaged on by the Wombo combo of LNG. Flandre is on Volibear after subbing in for Chenlun 17, taking out Hacker, hacking him in the face, and securing Dragon. But the team fight goes awry. Curse and Icon buy time as SMLZ flies into the backline and turns off the lights on LNG in a 2-0 sweep. The top esports and Billy Gaming series was decided before it even started. Knight and the boys, Jackie, love winning and beating up on bad teams. Billy gets smashed in the Baron Pit by Nico and are aced, securing a Game 1 victory for top esports. In Game 2, we're back at the Baron Pit, and it's the same old story. Baron is falling slowly, and BLG is collapsing, but be very quiet. Knight is hunting Wings and Zinmo. Jackie Love leaps out of the pit, and Trundle goes for a desperation steal, and he gets it! Trundle does his best Karsa impersonation and is useful for once, but can they win the fight? Knight is looking alright, ulting several members of Billy Gaming and setting the stage for a 2-0 sweep. Now in Korea, we find Team Dynamics and Sol Hyeon Prince in the base. Jarvan dives onto Aphelios, and Volibear is coming in from the top rope! But the Wombo combo isn't enough to save the Nexus. Dynamics wins Game 1. Googer Gaga ults into the bot lane on Pantheon, but Hybrid has a secret he wanted to tell you. You're gonna lose. Mickey is looking oh so fine after a flawless game of LeBlanc. Sol Hyeon Prince chases down several kills, and we're headed for a Game 3. In Game 3, Dynamics is looking to close out the series. And I'm rich, bitch! Ults in, disabling the tower, and SP is beyond salvation, as Kuzan and Dio Damn have SP sounding like Googer, crying for their mommy. In the final match of the night, KT and Hanwha faced off in the most annoying poke showdown of all time. Smeb is on fire and single-handedly wins the team fight and Game 1. In Game 2, Hanwha Life is holding on for dear life, looking for a pick on the Tom Kench, but Smeb is about to go off once again. Ripping Trundle into the Shadow Realm, and buying just enough time for Kuro to steal an ultimate and win the ensuing teamfight easily with a Wombo Combo. KT sweeps a Fangless Viper, and Hanwha Life 2-0. Hey, what's up everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and good news everyone! We had some wins yesterday. So my picks, I went 3 for 4, 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4. I had OMG winning as the underdog. I thought they were just the better team, and I liked some of their matchups, specifically top lane. I thought, well, when I was reviewing it on the stream, I kind of talked through the Chenlun 17 and Curse matchup, and then Flandre ended up getting subbed in Game 2, so I couldn't anticipate that. But in Game 1, OMG was given Kale and won the game pretty easily. Top Esports against BLG. Top Esports, everybody had Top Esports. Dynamics against SP. I had Dynamics for my pick, but as time went on, I started liking Solhewan Prince more and more for different kinds of tournaments. So I ran 2 lineups in the 444. I had Mickey in one lineup for if SP won, and then I had Rich in another lineup just in case Dynamics was like dominant. But if I left it as Rich, I basically pivoted off of Curse onto Rich, and if I left it alone, I would have chopped first in the 444, but instead I came in second. I tied for second, so like first place chopped 15 ways, and then I chopped 15th place, quote unquote 15th place twice. So yeah, KT against Hanwha Life. I was on Hanwha Life. I still like Hanwha Life. I think KT looked pretty good yesterday. But the drafting was pretty bad by Hanwha Life, I think. They have some good things going on, like their bot lane specifically, but they need to really lock down their early and mid game before I bet on them again. So I'll probably wait for another match or two to see how their top lane and jungle kind of how those positions play specifically, because if they're not playing well, then it kind of opens everything up. Also, I think Lava played pretty bad yesterday. On Corki, he was getting poked down really easily by Jace. That was pretty annoying. So let's take a look. So this is Elite JQ. He is one of the patrons. He chopped first place, so I would have been chopping with him, but instead I did not. So he won, I mean, almost 10 grand yesterday. Good job to him. 8,642 to first place. That lineup was duplicated 15 times. But when it comes in first, it comes in first. So good job, Elite. He a legend. He a legend. He a legend. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the head-to-head. Between my entry and the first place one. There's not much to look at. It's one swap. Feels bad, man. But you know, I think that in the long run, it's definitely something that I'll do again. I think that you kind of need to try to differentiate yourself in these kinds of tournaments, because the chalk. It's not that the chalk was obvious. There were some other lineups that were duplicated more. Like let me just I'll tell you what the most popular lineup was last night. I think it was like 25 times. 28. Yeah, so this lineup got copied 28 times. So Jackie Love was the captain, Viper and Lehens
plus Hanma life. So it was a basic 4-3 stack with 80 carry captain. I knew that I wanted Knight over Jackie Love as my captain. Personally, I think he has the higher upside, and I was also more interested in getting Icon from OMG instead of SMLZ. That ended up not being picking between SMLZ and Icon. I ended up getting the wrong side, but I got the right side of Knight and Jackie Love. So that's, you kind of have to just see how that goes. That's really it, I guess. Yeah, so these are not the final standings or anything like that. That's just the last time that I had updated them in my sheet. So let's do head-to-head. And like I said, I lost by 9.04 points. That was just between Curse and Rich. I think Rich was given Aatrox several times last night. That's pretty stupid. I think that's a big question mark for Solhewan Prince in terms of drafting. I think we'll have to be afraid of them from a draft perspective in the future. So whenever I'm talking about them, if I don't say anything about their drafts being an issue, remind me, because they had some questionable decisions there. And Curse looked good. Curse, in the second game, he played Fiora into Volibear. So that's something that we're going to have to watch out for across the world at this point. There are counter picks to Volibear, and teams are already figuring it out. That's a situation where the player probably figured it out and told the team, like, listen, I can play Fiora into it. He's going to try to auto-attack stun me, and then I can riposte it and stun him. So it's fine for laning phase and for team fights and stuff like that. Pretty good. My other contest was another top esports stack. I had Viper, Lehens, and OMG. So the OMG one was fine. I had Mickey because I thought if Dynamics was able to beat SP, Mickey would have the chance to like go insane. And it started off well. He got first blood in the first game, and I was feeling pretty good. And then Hanma Life or SP started playing badly, and it was like this one moment in the game where Ixu had a chance to kill Rich, Volibear versus Aatrox. He lost a few minions chasing him into the river. Rich failed his flash. Volibear wasn't able to kill him, so he just couldn't take advantage of that play. If he got that kill, he would have gotten an experience boost, he would have gotten additional gold, and I think he would have been able to potentially snowball. So it just shows you how close it is in these matchups a lot of the time, and how important it is to execute when you do find a opportunity. But let's move forward onto tonight. So do I have the lines in here? I do not. So let's do that first. Two matches in China, 2 matches in Korea. Just an update on my picks. I'm 76-44. That's still 63% across all regions. That's pretty good. I'm not mad at it. Oh, I guess Europe is tomorrow. We should probably do those picks as well. Wait, is Europe tomorrow? No, they're Friday. Alright, so RNG against V5. Interesting matchup. I think I will probably feel differently about this than some other people out there, but we will see. FPX, Invictus Gaming, another interesting matchup. Should be a fun day to build lineups. I'm sure you can get exposure to a lot of different combinations. I think some double dog combinations will be interesting. So RNG is a 70% favorite against V5. That seems a little high, so there's no value there. FPX against IG. The value is on Invictus Gaming, but you have to convince yourself to pick Invictus Gaming, which is scary sometimes. They have been playing pretty well recently. Ning has been playing better. So they're coming off their loss to LGD, but both teams looked good in that match. So I think everybody's going to be on FPX and just say, like, oh, well, Invictus Gaming can't even beat LGD. How are they supposed to beat FPX? But they have their chances. In Korea, we have Dragon X, who is a minus 1250 favorite against Sandbox, who is plus 659. I'm not touching either of those lines. I think it's obvious where all the ownership is going to go in that game. Second match, very interesting match, Genji against Damwon Gaming. So these are two of the 4 best teams in Korea right now. We'll do a lane by lane. But I think both teams have chances of winning. So we do have the LPL lineups, nothing surprising. New Xiaolongbao, Xiaohu, Betty, Ming against Biu, Wei Wei, Mole, and the Big Dick bot lane. Then FPX against the IG. We have Khan against the Shy, Tian against Ning, Doonbi and Rookie, LWX and Crisp against Puff and Southwind. I think Puff and Southwind looked pretty horrible in the last match against LGD, which is pretty concerning. Let's take a look at the DraftKings salaries. Alright, so Dragon X is the biggest favorite on the night, and they have and they're the most expensive team in the team slot, but they're not the most expensive players, which is pretty interesting. So DRX, RNG, FPX, Genji, Damwon, IG, V5, Sandbox. Let's do this. I'm gonna fix the sheet. So I guess we can start talking through it a little bit. So Dragon X. First up, we have Dragon X or DRX, whatever you want to call them. I call them the winners of this match. I keep most of my picks behind the paywall, but when it's this obvious, there's no point. Sandbox Gaming, I would assume, is getting their coach, but that doesn't matter to me at all. Doran against Summit, I'm assuming. I think that's actually pretty close, but every other lane is not close at all. If Sandbox wins a game, that's the only thing that you kind of have to be afraid of for Dragon X. You are paying a pretty hefty price tag for the players, which is not the best. It takes away a lot of the value, and it makes the stacking combinations a lot worse. FPX, Genji. I think honestly, there's 3 matches tomorrow that are going to be like fun to watch. Once we get past that first bad matchup, I think RNG against V5 will at least be very interesting to see if V5 can actually compete with a better team. I know that RNG has lost recently to LNG, but I think that was sort of a fluke. Xiaohu looked pretty bad in that series, if I remember correctly. V5 and then Sandbox. Wait, Damwon. Oh, I put the wrong team. One more second. Alright, that should be it. Dragon X, RNG. Yeah, so when you compare Dragon X and RNG, Dragon X is more expensive in the team slot, the jungle, and support, which is interesting. I think that it kind of speaks to the kind of stacks that they anticipate people making. because they're trying to make it a little more difficult to stack them with other good teams. So instead of making everyone like extremely overpriced to prevent stacking, you can just stagger the spots where they're the most expensive. And I'm guessing that's what they're doing here. So this is the sheet. I'm doing a stream again tonight. I'm pretty sure I'll do another stream tonight. So you just throw the captain team in here. You have all the players available in here. And it just shows you the different like roster combinations that you can make. Let me throw in the betting lines real quick. Minus 1250. RNG minus 238. FPX is minus 217. Gen G minus 149. 114. 659. So we're getting a lot of similar lines from night to night, which isn't really that surprising. Recycling lines is pretty common. So that should be it. So this is just an easy way to just remember, like, the salaries are highly correlated with the money line, specifically the team slot. It's basically, it is in order most of the time. So in the top lane, we have New is a little bit more expensive than Doran. Khan is the third highest on the slate. Rascal is 6,000. I don't like Rascal that much specifically. I haven't seen him really go off in a tough matchup yet, which is it's okay from a winning perspective, but it's not great for a DraftKings perspective. I think Noguri is definitely the better player, and now we have to watch out for players who might play Volibear, and I'm not sure which players here are going to play Volibear. That's probably pretty scary for the Shy, because I think if I had to guess who was more likely to play Volibear, Khan or the Shy, I would say Khan is more likely to play Volibear, and the Shy would play like Jace or Lucian or something into it, or Quinn. Actually, maybe Quinn works. I'm sure he could play Fiora as well. So that would be a very volatile matchup. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward with the pricing. In the jungle, we have Weiwei is a little bit more expensive, so they're anticipating Victory 5 being a popular secondary stack, I would assume. You're not normally going to take a jungler in your secondary stack unless the primary stack doesn't have a good jungler. But we have some good junglers on this slate, so I think that Weiwei will be under-owned. Not under-owned. I think he will be appropriately low-owned. Mole is the second... Wait. Showmaker is 7,000. That's interesting. Showmaker so far has looked like the best mid laner in Korea. I know it's a small sample size, but he has been pretty dominant, and I love Showmaker. Ever since I learned about that challenge that he did and succeeded, I'm just a huge fan of him now. That's so cool that he could pull something like that off. Ghost is also slightly underpriced. This is interesting. I'm a little surprised that Damwon Gaming is the underdog to Gen G, and I don't like the line necessarily at 114, but I do think that they have realistic chances of winning, so I would expect this match to go 2-1. So when I'm projecting for these teams, like I said, I don't really use projections or create projections because I'm pretty skeptical. But when I'm thinking about it, I'm going to think to myself, the game not played bonus will probably not be available in this game, so that kind of changes how I look at the teams. They will need to be able to play a highly contested game that kind of goes either way. where both teams get close to that game not played bonus, so they're not wasting or losing out on a lot of value. Fun plus Phoenix against Invictus Gaming. It's another match where I think it should go 2-1. I think that Invictus Gaming should be able to win at least one game. It's probably going to be extremely not sloppy, but like disjointed and chaotic, because both teams are pretty smart. I would say they're probably two of the smarter teams in the world in terms of how they approach the game, because by like forcing the game to devolve into some like ridiculous game state, it gives them an advantage over a lot of teams. So let me see. I want to look at the last time they played. So the last time that these two that these two teams matched up, enough said. FPX swept Invictus Gaming in the third place match. I'm not surprised. I know that Invictus Gaming was probably just not very interested in playing, based off of their apparent attitude. 7-1-11 in a loss. That's pretty good. I'm assuming there was some kind of throw involved. 6-0-10, 6-0-12. So we did get some high kill score games with FPX beating Invictus Gaming. If Invictus Gaming beats FPX, I think that the kill score would probably be a little lower, because Invictus Gaming isn't going to necessarily play the normal team fight closeout style. It'll be like weird split pushing and like gambiting and stuff like that. So that is pretty interesting. Let's take a look at the recent matches. FPX beat World Elite, beat Billy Gaming, lost to LNG, lost to Top Esports in the finals of the Mid-Season Cup. Invictus Gaming, they just lost to LGD, right? So they're missing a match in here, right? Yeah, yesterday or 2 days ago. Yeah, so that'll keep people off of Invictus Gaming. That makes them kind of interesting to me. I think you won't need to use them as your primary stack. If I was using them as a secondary stack, I think Rookie specifically is the player that I'd be the most interested in. The Shy looked like he was in a spot that he could carry the third game, but Rookie got caught out in the mid lane, and Puff played pretty bad the whole series. So I wouldn't blame the Shy for that last one. Then so that one I would say most likely 2-1, but 2-0 chances. If somebody sweeps, I think it's more likely that Fun plus Phoenix sweeps than Invictus Gaming. Dragon X against Sandbox, I'm fairly confident in a 2-0 in that one. Like I said, if they go 2-1, they're probably not going to be a great value. Sandbox in their matches, I should have left up the other. They lost to Afrika Freaks, and they lost to Damn One. So they lost to two teams that are better than them. Unfortunately, Dragon X is also better than them. Yeah, so that... Oh, I was going to look at the... Scoreboard watching. 4 deaths, 7 deaths, 6 deaths. Or no, not deaths. 15 deaths, 16 deaths, 12 deaths, 24 deaths. So this is kind of what we want. Our games like this, obviously, with 24 deaths. Dragon X, they're the kind of team I wouldn't be shocked if they took it slow and had a low kill score game. I would be afraid of Sandbox just rolling over and dying. And then we have RNG against V5. So this is the match that I said I feel like I probably think a little differently about it than most people. So RNG has had a few losses recently. Well, okay, so they lost to LNG. They beat JDG, and then they beat E-Star, but they didn't look great against E-Star. I do like RNG here. I think it's tough to kind of try to figure out what people are going to do with V5. I think people want to believe that V5 is going to be good today, but I'm pretty skeptical. If we take a look at the teams that they've played against in the summer, Dominus, not a good team. OMG, not a good team. LGD, a good team, and they lost. BLG, a bad team, and they won. And Vici Gaming, a bad team, and they won. So I think RNG is better than LGD. I think that we should probably go lane by lane. So Bu against New. I think that's basically a 50-50. The players are very similar. I don't see a gigantic edge for either player. In the jungle, we have Xiaolong Bao against Wei Wei. I think Xiaolong Bao is a better player with higher upside. They do have a similar champion pool, so there will be a lot of contested picks. In the mid lane, we have Mole against Xiaohu. I think Xiaohu is definitely the better player. And then we have the Big Dick bot lane against Betty and Ming. I think that Samd and PP have looked better this split than Betty and Ming, but that's, I think, due in large part to the competition that they've faced. V5 against E-Star, I think, would be an interesting match to kind of gauge where V5 is, because Wink and Xiaoxi are a good bot lane, and if they could still win that match, where it's like pretty close talent wise, through Samd and PP, I think then it would be a little bit more. I'd feel a little better about them going up against RNG. I think that it could. I think the RNG match against V5 could be similar to. I think it could be a low-scoring game. I think that V5, when they're losing games, isn't throwing themselves at the winning team. And when they're ahead, they have taken their foot off the gas a little bit. Yeah, so they gave up 12 kills, got 19 for themselves, gave up 15 against LGD in their loss. That's not going to be enough, I don't think. And then they gave up 15, then they won, and then they won. So I am a little concerned with how they're going to, with how many points they're going to give up in a loss. So let's see. When the RNG lost to LNG, they gave up 16 kills and 12 kills. So I think that this is kind of what we're looking at here. I am a little afraid of that match based off of that. I will be looking for game not played bonuses tonight. I will be looking to get different combinations of players. I've been a lot more focused on getting exposure to the captains that I really like, and getting exposure to multiple players in the role of my captain. So, like, for example, earlier I was talking about Rookie. I think Rookie's probably a good play tonight. I think Showmaker's a good play tonight. Doomby's a little expensive, but he's a good play tonight. I think that you have six mid laners that are good players, like actually good players. So you'll want to get a lot of those into your lineups. Then for 80 carries, you have Deft, who is a known commodity, LWX. These guys are all in a different league, though. They're not nearly as good as. Maybe not near. Maybe I shouldn't say it like that. I think Deft is better than everybody on the slate in terms of actual skill. So for fantasy, for DraftKings purposes, it will probably end up being contrarian. Maybe it won't be contrarian. I think AD carries just get so much more exposure as captain anyways. I'll have to look at the stacks to see what fits. But that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want access to the sheet and my picks, check out Patreon. Congratulations again to everybody who did well yesterday. I was very close to chopping first. Hurts a little bit, but life goes on. And I will be back at it again tonight, trying to win some money. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Look out for my stream tonight between 10 to 12 o'clock. I'll be up. Maybe do another late night stream. Play some League of Legends. Look at some lineup construction stuff. Talk about ownership projections and stuff like that. So thanks again for watching. And I'll talk to you later. See ya.